The following is not alive. The following is a special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and/or future. And it is with a heavy heart that we do this stream today. If you are not aware, we lost a member of our community overnight Saturday morning, the 21st of November 2020, and our friend and colleague Dale Lonsdale. Dale, from Philadelphia area originally, and lived in around the Cleveland area, I think. Certainly in Ohio, had battled some serious health issues over the last few months, and succumbed to them early this morning, which is a great loss for us because the community was much richer for having him in it. As far as details of funerals and stuff, we do know that his sister talked with Rob with an exclamation point on YouTube, and that Dale served in the military with distinction and will be buried at Arlington National Cemetery, which is pretty gosh darn good if you ask me. So in honor of Dale, well, first of all, if you have any Dale Lonsdale stories, put them in the comments below, and I will read them live on twitch.tv Monday night when we do our next regularly scheduled live broadcast. And also, Al Red Sox fan and Dave Gardner are scheduled to join me after the first period of the Montreal Canadiens and Chicago Blackhawks Monday night at 8 Eastern Time. So we'll take some extra time in that live stream to remember Dale. The three of us will share some of our stories about him and thoughts, and after the second period we will talk about what you guys remember about Dale. And so we'll talk a little bit about it here. So today you're going to get a game, actually. You would have gotten a hockey game live on Saturday, but I figured this would be better. We go back to 1980 and Game 6 of the World Series between the Kansas City Royals and Philadelphia Phillies. Dale at one point worked in the Philadelphia Phillies clubhouse, if I remember his story to be straight. And so he obviously, growing up in Philadelphia, was a huge Phillies fan, and this was the first Phillies World Series win, I believe, ever, as far as clinching a series. And so what better way to pay tribute to one of our dear friends than probably replaying one of the happiest nights of his life, the night that the Philadelphia Phillies won the World Series. And so, Dale, wherever you are tonight, Godspeed. Hope that you are no longer suffering and that you are with those that you wished that you had wanted to be with. And so with that, it's Game 6 of the 1980 World Series. And so these are the real lineups from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. It is Tuesday, October 21st, 1980. A beautiful night in Philadelphia. Don't mind those empty seats. Every seat's filled as the Phillies have a 3-2 lead in this World Series. And 68 degrees. The wind is blowing at 14 from right to left. And they can feel it, man. They got Steve Carlton looking for his third postseason win on the mound, trying to close this out. The lineup he'll face: Willie Wilson is in left field for Kansas City. UL Washington is at short with a toothpick. George Brett, he hit .390 in 1980, will bat third and play third. Hal McRae, the DH, cleans up. Remember, we're in the era where even number years you had a DH, and in odd number years in the World Series the pitchers bat. Batting fifth will be Amos Otis. He's in center field. Willie Mae Aikens is at first. He'll bat sixth. He had a monster World Series, if I remember correctly. I was 8 years old. John Watson behind the plate will bat seventh. Jose Cardinal in right field will bat eighth, and Frank White at second will bat ninth. Two lefties in the lineup against Carlton, Brett, and Aikens. Carlton, The last man in Major League Baseball to throw 300 innings went 24-9 in 1980 with a 2.34 ERA. He won the Cy Young. He threw 304 innings, allowed 243 hits, 15 homers. He walked 90, but struck out 286 for a whip of 1.095. He is a fastball pitcher. He is 36, can throw 130 pitches, and of course you got Tug McGraw in the bullpen. He's a fastball pitcher at 91 and will give up the fly ball. And this is a defense around him. Lonnie Smith in left is a 4 and a 3. Gary Maddox in center a 10 and a 4. Bake McBride in 1980 is a 7 and a 5. Around the infield, Mike Schmidt is a 10. Larry Boa an 8. Manny Trio over from the Cubs is a 9 at second. Pete Rose is a 5 at first. Bob Boone in 1980 is 7 and a 7, and he's got the hockey mask type mask on, the goalie mask, as opposed to the traditional mask that we were used to. And Steve Carlton is a 4 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Phillies win, they win the World Series. Do it for number Dale, or number 3. Wilson at 326 had 705 at-bats in 1980. 3 homers and 49 RBI. He stole 79 bases. We're underway. Strike 3. Carlton got him on a 1-2 off-speed pitch looking, 1 out. And that'll bring up UL Washington at 273. Just picture a toothpick there. 6 homers, 11 triples, and 53 RBI. Carlton winds and deals, and that's into right center. Maddox is there, 2 out. Brings up George Brett. Brett flirted with 400 the last time anyone did it that late in the year. Remember, Tony Gwynn hit 394 and 94, but the season ended in August. Brett at 390, 24 homers and 118 RBI. Carlton loses him ball 4. So Brett on first, a 3-1 just high, and that'll bring up Hal McRae, the DH. McRae at 297, 14 homers, and 83 RBI. You got the outcome box going, so you can see what is expected to have happen. 2 out, nobody on, top the first here in Game 6. Phillies win, they win the World Series. Pitch to McRae is a ground ball to Rose. Takes it to the bag himself, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. They leave a man on the walk. Half an inning in the books. Kansas City, nothing. Here come the Phils. And so Rich Gale has the unfortunate fortune of trying to force a Game 7 for Kansas City. And here's a lineup he'll face. Lonnie Smith is in left field. He'll lead off. Pete Rose is at first. He'll bat second. Mike Schmidt at third. He'll bat third. Bake McBride cleans up in right. Remember, it's a DH year for the World Series. Greg Luzinski will bat fifth. Gary Maddox in center will bat sixth. Manny Trio at second will bat seventh. And I still think that's one of my favorite jazz names, would be the Manny Trio. Larry Boa at short will bat eighth. Bob Boone behind the plate will go ninth, and Steve Carlton threw 14 pitches in the first. Gale, not a bad choice in an elimination game. 13-9 with a save and an ERA of 3.92. 190 and 2/3 innings. 169 hits. 16 home runs allowed. He walked 78. Struck out 97. A young man at 26. He is a fly ball pitcher, and this is a good ballpark to be a fly ball pitcher in. And the fastball tops out at 90. He did have a regular season shutout, and I don't remember what his playoff record was. Defensively for the Royals, Willie Wilson a 10 and a 7 in left. Amos Otis is an 8 and a 6 in center. Jose Cardinal is a 4 and a 4 in right. And, of course, with the lefty on the mound, I'm sure that's a platoon situation. George Brett playing for a bunt I'm not going to do is a 7 at third. UL Washington is a 6 at short. Frank White a 10 at second. Willie Mays Aikens is there for his offense, not his defense. He's a 3. John Wathen, again, I think that's a platoon situation. A 2 and a 3 behind the plate. And Gale is a 7 on the mound with a 9.73 fielding percentage. Lonnie Smith hit .339 in 1980 with the Phils, 3 homers, 4 triples, and 20 RBI. He is a threat to steal. Pitch from Gale, and there's a line drive to Aikens, 1 out. So they play back for Pete Rose. Second year in Philadelphia for Rose. At .282, 42 doubles, a homer, and 64 RBI. He did steal 12 bases. This time around, he laces out one into center field. He'll hold at first, and the Phillies have a runner on and 1 out for Mike Schmidt. And boy, did Mr. Schmidt have a massive year in 1980. He hit .286. He slugged 48 home runs and drove in 121. He even stole 12 bases. He walked 89 times and struck out 119. And his OPS is 1,004. Pitch from Gale into left field. Wilson comes in to make the catch. Rose will hold at first, and there's 2 out for McBride. McBride at .309, 10 triples, 9 homers, and 87 RBI. 2 out. Runner on first. No score. Bottom of the first. Pitch from Gale. There's a ground ball to Washington. He'll flip it to White for the sure out, and that will retire the side. Both teams strand a runner. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors. Go to the second. No score. So it'll be Amos Otis, Willie Aikens, and John Wathen to face Carlton. Otis, .251, 10 homers and 53 RBI. There's a fly ball, left center field. Maddox rides the Schwinn, 1 out. Willie Aikens, not expected to do well. 128 is what the computer says. .278 on the year, 20 homers, 98 RBI. And for the Royals, that was the power. That is the Con Ed of the Midwest. Into center, Maddox, 2 out. For John Wathen, who was their primary catcher. Hit .305, so they'll forgive the defense. 7 triples, which is a lot for a catcher. It's a lot for anybody. 6 homers and 58 RBI. Pitch to John is a fly ball to right. McBride is there, and that will retire the side. Royals go in order. We go to the bottom of the second. No score. So Luzinski, Maddox, and Trio to face Gale, who threw 10 pitches in the first. Luzinski at .228, about to become a full-time DH anyway with the White Sox. 19 homers and 56 RBI and 368 at-bats. Into left center, back goes Wilson to the track, 1 out. Crowd liked it. It was in the deep left center, but the wind kind of held that one in the park. 1 out for Gary Maddox. At .259, 11 homers, 31 doubles, and 73 RBI. Pitch to Gary is into left center field. Otis tracks back, 2 out. Here's Manny Trio. One of the big reasons why the Phillies were so successful in 1980. .292, 9 triples, and 7 home runs. He drove in 43. Gale's pitch to third. Brett over to first, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the third inning. It's the Royals nothing, the Phillies nothing. Godspeed, Dale Lonsdale. This is the Game 6 of the 1980 World Series on Retro Sports Network. So Jose Cardinal can hit lefties pretty well. If you wouldn't know it, I was a poet. He had 375 in him in the real year. In 53 regular season at-bats, he hit 340 and drove in 5. Had 2 doubles. Carlton delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. McBride goes back in the corner, 1 out. Brings up Frank White, 264, 7 homers, and 60 RBI. Carlton deals, struck him out. Got him on a full count. A fastball at 88, 2 out for Willie Wilson, who struck out to start the ball game. So through 9 batters, Steve Carlton has thrown 31 pitches, 2 2/3 innings, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Infield back. Wilson can bunt. Don't think the computer will do that. Into right, and foul. So somebody from West Philadelphia, born and raised. A ball and 2 strikes. Carlton's pitch. In the right center field. That's going to be 3. Wilson's actually going for the plate. He's out. He is out. Oh, baby. McBride waited for that to come off the wall. Willie Wilson had a sure triple. He tried to stretch it into an inside the park home run. The slide, the tag from Boone was there. Let's watch it again. Look at that speed. McBride does not have the greatest arm in the world, but that was a direct strike. That was not cut off by Trio, and that will retire the side. The Royals get a hit and do not score. We go to the bottom of the 3rd inning in Game 6, no score. How about that? Here's Larry Boa, 267, 2 homers, and 39 RBI. Gale starts the 3rd with a ground ball right back up the middle. Throw to Akins. 1 out. So the Royals, you don't ever want to be the first out on the bases, and you certainly don't want to be the last out. And Wilson turned a triple into an out. Here's Bob Boone at 229, 9 homers, and 55 RBI. Pitch from Gale. Popped up, right side. Akins, 2 out. Brings up Lonnie Smith, who's 0 for 1. Gale, in a game that Jimmy Fry is going to need him to go deep. 2 2/3 innings, 24 pitches for the first 9, and a hit. Into right, Cardinal makes the catch. Crowd liked it off the bat. Got hung up in the wind, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the 4th. Kansas City and Phillies scoreless in Philadelphia. No tasty cakes for anybody. UL Washington, George Brett, and Hal McRae to face Carlton here in the 4th. Rose and Schmidt play for the bunt. Here's a little looper into right field that's going to drop for a hit. And that's the 2nd hit for the Royals. Here's Brett. He walked his first time up. Kansas City, always a threat to steal. Throw to first. Washington laughs. And now we'll work on Brett. Brett, as I said, walked his first time up. Line drive to short. Boa, 1 out. For Hal McRae. 0 for 1. Carlton holding Washington right on first. Got him. He got him looking on a 3-2 changeup. Strike 3. Shakes his head, but, you know, it's a tribute game. You're not supposed to get the breaks. Brings up Amos Otis, who's 0 for 1. Ball 4. Lost him. So runners on first and second, full count inside. And that'll bring up Akins, who is 0 for 1. So Carlton, 55 pitches with 2 outs in the top of the 4th. Delivers. Got him! He looked at a 1-2 off-speed pitch for strike 3, and Carlton snorts as he heads back to the dugout. No runs, a hit, no errors. The Royals strand 2. Bottom of the 4th, no score. So Rose, Schmidt, and McBride to face Gale here in the bottom of the 4th. Rose singled, lone hit on the ball game. Popped up, Wathan takes off the mask, 1 out. Brings up Schmidt, who's 0 for 1. Crowd a bit restless now. Winds at 12 now. 67 degrees. Beautiful night for baseball. Into left center field. Back goes Wilson. But again, the wind kind of battered that down, and there's 2 out. So again, the crowd seeing things with their hearts and not necessarily their head. And here is Bake McBride, who's 0 for 1. Pitch. Up the middle, White in front of the bag, over to first, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the 5th. No score. So it'll be Wathan, Cardinal, and White to face Carlton here in the 5th. John's 0 for 1. Into center, Maddox, 1 out. Jose Cardinal is 0 for 1. Carlton doing what he's got to do. He needs a run. Phillies lead the series 3-2. Right back up the box. Throw to first, 2 out. So you can be your own best friend right there. Here's White. He struck out his first time up. Carlton from the wind. Into center field. Back goes Maddox. But that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We're halfway home in Game 6. It's the Royals nothing, the Phillies nothing. And so let me take a minute to tell you a little bit about my friend Dale. Dale was the first person to sign up for my Patreon. And I don't think Dale had that much money to give, but for the longest time, when I got that Patreon money, the first $5 was from him. And so that was always a boost of confidence. And another story that I'll quickly share is, I'm sure for those of you who are new to the channel, you might not know all the stories, but for those of you who have been with me for a while, you remember the day that I got nailed by the ice cream dolly at my neighborhood CVS store? I'm not going to show you the scar. I know that excites Al too much if I do that. Long story short, went out to breakfast with a friend and stopped at CVS on the way home to do a game, as a matter of fact, or record, or I'm not sure what I was doing. But a greasy breakfast. I always used to grab a soda afterwards to cut the grease in my mouth, so it's going for a Coke Zero. And lo and behold, I passed the freezer section next to the soda section, and the freezer section was empty. That's not very nice. So I go and grab my soda, and my wife grabbed that and whatever else we were buying, and so she's checking out, and I creep into the aisle to go find her, and I stick my foot out and look, and I'm about to get walloped by the freezer section of the store because they were trying to bring it back in. They had a freezer malfunction. Everything had melted. You got to restock it. And so the poor man who was bringing in the stuff from the street, could only upload it at that particular store in the front, ran into me. And the frozen blade of the dolly and the 200 pounds of ice cream and the wheel cut the top of my foot and moved my ankle, which is highly fused because that's part of my disability. Well, the ankle moved. Nothing was broken. The swelling wasn't bad, yada, yada, yada. And so, I mean, he felt terrible. And I got to feel it all over again when they pulled the dolly off of me. So, as I was hopped up on Advil, hoping I didn't have to go to the hospital to set a broken bone that wasn't going to move in a nuclear explosion, it was Dale who kept me company that afternoon on Facebook. We sat there and messaged back and forth and swapped stories, and one of the ones that we swapped that afternoon was the fact that, he was from Philadelphia and knew some of these players. He spoke highly of Mike Schmidt and Beck McBride and Gary Maddox and all that because, if I remember it correctly, a clubhouse attendant for a while as a kid, which would make sense. 1980 was 40 years ago. He would have been a young man. And he just loved this team. And, I was very nice to him. He didn't need to spend that hour or two. It was very nice to have someone to chat with while you're waiting for that medication there, because then you're bored and all you're thinking about is the fact that, am I going to have to go to the hospital? And so, thank you so much, Dale, for that and your friendship and your games of words with friends. They really did mean a lot to me. And so I wanted to send out my best to his family, his children, and his friends who are suffering a loss that they're not going to get back. And so I wanted to say I'm sorry. And if you have a good Dale story, share it in the chat below or the comments below, and they'll be read live on twitch.tv Monday night. And so what he would want us to do is go back to the game, and that's what we shall do. But first, you know how many runs in the game? This one has been a pitcher's duel. Gale, a one-hitter through 4. He's only thrown 35 pitches. Faced 13 batters, 25 strikes, and 10 balls. Carlton, two-hitter through 5. He has walked 2 and struck out 4 over 66 pitches. He has faced 18 batters. And you can't have a game wrap-up or a game recap when not much has happened. Willie Wilson was thrown out trying to stretch a triple into an inside-the-park home run. So Beck McBride has saved the Phillies' bacon with that good throw. Luzinski, by the way, is 0 for 1. And Gale starts the bottom of the 5th with a pop-up. Washington, 1 out. Gary Maddox is 0 for 1. In fact, Pete Rose has a lone hit for the Phils. In the left center, that's a base hit. Rip that one past Washington, and now bring up Manny Trio, who is 0 for 1. Can't bunt. He does do well with a hit and run, and that's what we're going to do. Hit and run is on. There's a ground ball foul, third base side, and the count is a ball and a strike. Infield continues to play back. And we will hit and run again. Runner goes into center field. Back goes Otis, but Maddox will retreat. 1 out. Brings up Boa. Infield playing back. We're going to steal this time. 2 out. Dallas Green, the first-year manager of the Phillies. Danny Ozark brought him to the National League Championship Series 3 years in a row. 76, 7, and 8. And they never got past either the Reds. Well, they weren't getting past the Reds in 76. And the Dodgers, of course, beat them in 77 and 78. Time for a change of scenery. Jim Fry takes over. I'm sorry. Dallas Green took over. They had that magnificent 5-game epic with the Astros, including the last 3 in Houston, to get to the World Series. Runner goes, Wathan throws down to Washington, and Maddox has it stolen. So an 0-1 count, Maddox had that cleanly stolen, and Boa can now drive home the go-ahead run with a 1-strike count. Pitch from Gale. There's a base hit into left field. Maddox scores easily, and Boa's on. So it's 1-0 Philadelphia here, 2 out in the bottom of the 5th. And that'll bring up Bob Boone, who is 0 for 1. So the 65,000 in attendance here at Veterans Stadium are now in a state of almost joy. Pitch or throw to first. Boa is out. They got him. They took off. He must have taken his own sign to go, and Aikens threw to Washington, and Washington tagged him for the out. So it goes 1-3-6. And that'll do. So after 5, the Phillies get a big run. Maddox steals second and scores. After 5, 1-0 Phillies. So Steve Carlton, 5 innings, 18 batters, 66 pitches, 2 hits, no runs. He has walked 2 and struck out 4. Wilson tripled. He's 1 for 2 with a strikeout. They play for the bunt. Remember, Wilson was thrown out trying for the inside the park home run. Into right, McBride, 1 out. Brings up UL. Washington 1 for 2 with a single. He drops one down. It's going to roll foul. So the count goes to no balls and 2 strikes. Kansas City on a similar path. They'd had enough of the Whitey Herzog show, so they brought in Jimmy Fry. The Royals, like the Phillies, won 3 straight division titles, 76, 77, and 78, but were beaten by the Yankees in 5 and 76 and 77 and 4 in 78. They fell to the Angels in 79, won the division in 1980, played their 4th ALCS against the Yankees and swept them, including George Brett's massive home run in Game 3, which I watched from a hotel room in Seabrook, New Hampshire. Pitch to Washington, ball 4, so the tying run is on for George Brett, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. So 1 out, top the 6th, 1-0 Philadelphia. Brett into right, McBride will get it. He had to go back to the track, 2 out for McRae, who is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Carlton walked, as we said in the open, 90 in 304 innings. Up the middle, trio over to first, and that will retire the side. The Royals have left 4 on. No runs, no hits, no errors. Bottom 6, 1-0 Phils. So Boone, Smith, and Rose to face Gale, who's dealing, but is on the wrong side of a 1-0 game. Into right, Cardinal, and that will go foul, and somebody from Wilmington, Delaware, will make the catch. A ball and 2 strikes. To Boone. Gale. Fly ball to center. Otis goes back for the out, 1 away. And then I'll bring up Lonnie Smith. So through 18 batters, Rich Gale, you can't do much better than what he's done. 5 1/3 innings, 48 pitches through 18. 3 hits, 1 run. It was earned. He hasn't walked anybody nor struck anybody out. Kansas City playing for the bunt. Pitch to Smith. There's a liner in the left field. Wilson will cut it off, and that's a single. So a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Rose. Pete is 1 for 2. He also singled. First hit of the ball game for the Phils. Lonnie's going to steal this base. Runner goes, a throw down to Washington. Not in time. In fact, Smith had the base stolen on the get-go. And so, for the second time, Philadelphia has a runner in scoring position. And a one-strike count to Rose. Ground ball up the middle. Smith will stay at second. Throw to first. Oh, Smith will go to third. And Rose is retired. 2 out for Schmidt, who is 0 for 2. Carlton, at 75 pitches, will obviously pitch to 7th. Phillies would like an insurance run. Not going to get it as Schmidt swings and misses at a 2-2 fastball. So that's the first from Gale. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 7th. 1-0 Philadelphia. So Otis, Akins, and Wathan to face Carlton here. Amos is 0 for 1. Into center field, back goes Maddox. 1 out. Willie Akins is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. We'll see what the computer and Jimmy Fry want to do. They'll leave him in the ball game. Popped up left side. Boa in the foul territory. Has it for the 2nd out. John Wathan is 0 for 2. Got him! So a 2-2 looking for strike 3, ended the inning. And so Carlton is through 7. No runs, no hits, nobody left on, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 7th. It's 1-0 Philadelphia. And the horses have started to ring around the outfield as Philadelphia hopefully gets ready to celebrate. McBride is 0 for 2. Luzinski and Maddox to follow. Pitch from Gale. Here's a base hit left center field. McBride is on, and that's the 5th hit of the ball game. Luzinski is 0 for 2. Gale has done yeoman's work, and it may not be for much of anything. Throw to first. McBride is out. McBride, they caught him napping, and Gale picked him off. So it goes 1-3 on the pickoff, and there's 1 out for Luzinski, and no count. I wasn't going to steal him. I was going to let him Luzinski swing. He's not a good hit-and-run guy anyway, and you don't want to have the situation where you obviously would walk Luzinski. Pitch to Bull, struck him out. He got him on an 0-2 on the inside. That's the 2nd for Gale. 2 out for Maddox, who is singled, stole a base, and scored. So the Royals are hanging tough. Pitch to Maddox is right to short. Washington leaps and makes the catch to retire the side. No runs. 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 8th. 1-0 Philadelphia. Cardinal, White, and Wilson. And I suppose we've reached the point where if anyone should reach, although Carlton's pitch count is at 89, he is showing the fatigue warning, Tug McGraw for the championship. Cardinal is 0 for 2. That's into right center field. McBride will throw to second. Boa puts on the tag. No, sir. So Cardinal is on with a tying run double. And Rusty Torres is the runner on second. He would be the tying run. Green looks out to Carlton, and lefty says, I'm fine. White 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Got away from Boone, and Torres will move to third on the wild pitch. So 2 pitches in the inning, or 4 pitches in the inning, and it's been nothing good for Philadelphia. Again, they'll play halfway. White has a 1-0 count. Carlton's pitch got away from Boone, and we're tied at 1. So another wild pitch. And the Royals have tied the game. So Carlton giveth, and Carlton in this case has taken away. To short, Boa to first, 1 out. McGraw still warming. Here's Wilson. Willie is 1 for 3. He has struck out and tripled. And so Carlton, through 7 1/3 innings and 27 batters, has thrown 95 pitches, allowed just 3 hits. He has walked 3 and struck out 5. But 2 wild pitches here in the 8th has tied the ballgame at 1. Base hit center field. Gonna get past Maddox. Wilson for 3. He's in there. So the Royals have the go-ahead runner on. And now, well, that's it. They're going to go get him. Tug McGraw is in the ballgame. They'll have to play in. You're not going to want Washington to face Brett. McGraw 5 and 4, 20 saves and 80, a 1.46 ERA. In 92 1/3 innings, he allowed 62 hits, 3 homers. He walked 23 and struck out 75. He is 36 like Carlton. He is a screwball pitcher. He features the ground ball, and when he does throw the fastball, it tops out at 86. And they're going to play him in to get Wilson, or try and hold Wilson with 1 out. So Washington 1 for 2. He has singled and walked. Pitch from McGraw. Struck him out. He got him to check a 1-2 fastball for strike 3. And man, you gotta believe, it doesn't matter what the hat says, he slaps his thigh and will face Brett, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. Oh, that was huge. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Royals. They've left 4 on. The Phillies, a run on 5 hits, no errors, and they've only stranded 2. So Gale has pitched a gem of a game, and at the moment, he is off the hook for the loss. Pitch to Brett. It's into center field. Maddox will go back and make the catch. And so the Royals have tied this game on 2 hits and 2 wild pitches. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 1-1. So trio, Boa, and Boone to face Gale. It's still only 59 degrees here, and the wind is now blowing out to center at 21. In the right field, Torres is in the ballgame. He's a 7 and a 9 in right, 1 out. He scored the tying run. Larry Boa will swing away here. 1 for 2. He drove home Maddox in the 5th. In the left, Wilson, 2 out. McRae, Otis, and Akins to face McGraw in the 9th. Bob Boone is 0 for 2. Pitch from Gale. Into center field, but Otis is there, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the ninth, 1-1. McRae is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. And it hit him. Oh, McGraw did not mean that. Not in the slightest. So Otis, who really can't bunt, is 0 for 2 with a walk. And if you got fingernails left here in Game 6, it's time to chew them. Throw to first. McRae is back. There's a ground ball to Schmidt. Only play is to first. Did Otis beat it out? No! Schmidt made a diving stop on the turf. He had no chance at McRae. He went to Rose, and there's one out. What a play by Schmidt. Just to get the ball there and to get the runner at first. So let's see what the Royals do with Akins. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. For the Phillies, it's the top of the lineup in the ninth. Smith, Rose, and Schmidt. Pitch to Akins, ball 4. And that'll bring up Wathan, who is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. So McGraw will work from the stretch. Into left center, Lonnie Smith has it 2 out. McRae will go to third. The throw goes in the infield. And there's 2 out. Let's see what they do with Rusty Torres. He was a pinch runner for Jose Cardinal and scored in the 8th. Dave Chalk, 251, a homer, and 20 RBI. But the odds are heavily in favor of one Tug McGraw. The pitch. Base hit center field. McRae will score. Akins goes to third, and the Royals, sorry, Dale, are trying to force Game 7. It's 2-1 Kansas City. Here's White. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. The Royals won 97 on the real year. The Phillies, no one remembers what your record is when you win the World Series. They outlasted the Expos and only won 91 games. Pitch to White. A number to Boa. He goes to Trio, and he go to the bottom of the 9th. But the Royals get a run on a hit, no errors. Rich Gale trying to win this one to go to Game 7. It's Kansas City 2, Philadelphia 1. So McGraw would take the loss. Gale would get the win. Lonnie Smith is 1 for 3 with a stolen base. He squares. He can do that. Wathan will pick it up. The throw to White, and Smith is out. So they tried it. It did not work. 1 out for Rose, and Schmidt on deck. Popped up right side. Hurdle is now in right. He's a 7 and a 6, and that will go out of play, and the count is 2-2. Schmidt on deck, and if anybody should reach, Bake McBride. Got him. A 2-2 in there at the knees, and so here is Mike Schmidt. He is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Rich Gale taking some deep gulps on the mound. In the left, in the corner, and we would have a Game 7. No, we won't. So the Royals did in the sim what they could not do in real life. They have forced the issue. And so they win Game 6 by the score of 2-1. So Willie Wilson doubled or tripled twice, But Rich Gale is our digital, Dale Lonsdale is our digital dice MVP. Rich Gale throws a 5-hitter, allowed the 1 run, and he struck out 3. He throws 84 pitches in the complete game. Carlton had minus stuff, 7 1/3 innings, 4 hits. 1 run it was earned. He walked 3 and struck out 5. McGraw got out of trouble in the 8th, got into trouble in the 9th, an inning and 2/3, 1 hit, 1 run. The winner, he walked 1 and struck out 1. And so, you know how this works. We played the game. Hopefully, Dale would have laughed at the loss and knowing that you had Game 7. But that's it. Wherever you are tonight, my friend, Godspeed. I'm Ron Juckett. We'll be live on Twitch.tv Monday night for some hockey and at Honordale. And until then, have yourself a good night.